Most people aren't losing because life is hard. They're losing because they chose the version of life that was supposed to feel easy. And now they can't figure out why nothing's working. They supposedly did everything right. They avoided the stress. They stayed comfortable. They played it smart. And somehow they're still stuck. That's not a coincidence. That's a consequence. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why and what it actually costs you to keep playing it safe. Let me be clear about something first. Easy mode doesn't look like laziness, at least not always. It doesn't look like someone sitting on a couch doing nothing with their life. That's too obvious, way too obvious. Like, come on now, bro. I'm 300 pounds doing absolutely nothing with my life, sitting, watching YouTube or watching, some explicit videos on the tube. That's too obvious. Most people wouldn't respect that version of themselves, which, hey, I'm not gonna lie. Every single one of us has done that at least one day of our lives. Like, come on now, bro. Hey, if we gonna be honest, let's be honest here. Come on now. Anyways, easy mode is subtler than that. It's disguised. It looks like staying in a job you've already outgrown because the check still clears. It looks like not posting the video, not starting the business, not having the hard conversation because the timing isn't perfect yet. Oh, I want to wait till this adds up. Oh, I want to wait till it feels right. When is it going to feel right to do something? When has it ever felt right to do something? You keep delaying yourself. Always, you keep delaying yourself. It looks like choosing the familiar path every single time, not because it's the right path, but because it's the one you already know. Easy mode is every time you had a choice between what was comfortable and what would actually push you. And you chose comfortable. And here's the thing, you probably had a reason every time, probably a good one. I'm not ready. It's not the right moment. I'll do it when things settle down. Those reasons feel real because maybe some of them were. Depending on the situation, depending on where you was at in life, depending on where you are right now, it feels real. It feels valid, and it is valid. But after a while, the reasons aren't protecting you anymore. They're just keeping you in place. That's what easy mode is. Not the absence of effort, but I can't talk. But the consistent avoidance of the kind of effort that actually changes something. Now, I want to give easy mode this defense because it doesn't feel like a trap when you're in it. It might feel like wisdom, or at least it doesn't feel like a trap at first. Think about it. You've seen people go hard. You've seen people burn out. You've seen people lose everything trying to chase something that doesn't pan out. You've watched people take risks that didn't work out. You've probably taken a few yourself. If you haven't, newsflash, bucko, you are not living life. I'm not going to lie to you. So the idea of being careful, being calculated, being smart with your energy, that doesn't sound like weakness. That sounds like you learned something. And I get it. From a certain standpoint, it is smart. Not everything deserves your full energy. Not every opportunity is worth blowing your life up for. But there is a version of that logic that starts to stretch. It goes from I'll be strategic to I'll wait until I'm sure to I'll wait until I'm really sure. And before you know it, years have passed. Before you wasn't able to grow a beard. Now you got a full, what are they called again? Now you got a full, woodsman beard. There you go. Now you got a full woodsman beard. Years have passed and you're still in the same position you were in when you first started or when you first said you were being strategic. And to that point, that's not strategy anymore. That's fear. And that's fear that's learned how to wear strategy's clothes. The difference is simple. Real strategy moves. It makes a decision with incomplete information and adjusts. It accepts risk as part of the process. Fear, dressed as energy, just waits forever and ever and ever and ever. And sure enough, you're old, you're wrinkly, you're bitter, you get no hoes, and you do absolutely nothing with your life. Why? Because it was quote unquote safe to wait, and you waited forever, and you waited and waited and waited, and now you get nobody on your body. Capiche? Capiche. So, if you've been telling yourself you're playing it smart, I'm not saying you're wrong. Maybe you are wrong in some instances. But what I'm saying is, look at the movement. Look at what's actually changed in the last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, because real strategy leaves evidence. Here's what most people stop thinking about it. Here's where most people stop thinking about it, bro. I cannot talk today. They weigh the cost of trying, the risk, the embarrassment, the possibility of failure against the comfort of staying, and staying wins every single time because the cost of staying feels like zero, but it's not zero. It's invisibility. It just is. And it's slow. Slow as molasses. Slow as molasses. Slower than you are whenever you're out with your friends and you're trying to talk to a girl and they push you, but you just move on so slow because you're scared. That's what I'm talking about. And it compounds the same way interest does. The first cost is your standards. Every time you accept something less than what you said you wanted, your ceiling drops a little bit. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself you're being patient. But patience and settling feel identical from the inside, and the difference only shows up over time. And after years of adjusting what you accept, you stop remembering what you originally wanted. You start calling the smaller version of your life realistic. The second cost is your identity. You don't just lose progress when you stay comfortable. No, quite the contrary, as a matter of fact. You lose the version of yourself that was capable of more. That version atrophies. Same as muscles. Same as a muscle you stop using. The person who works through difficulty, who figures things out, who fails and comes back, that person builds something inside themselves that cannot be bought or given. It's built only by going through it. Easy mode doesn't build that. And you can feel its absence. That's why people who've been playing it safe for years have this specific kind of restlessness. Not depression, not chaos. Yeah, maybe depression. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, whatever. Just a quiet feeling that something is missing. That they're capable of more, but they can't quite point to what they need to do. They feel it because they're right. The third cost is time. And this one, I won't spend long on because you know it. But I'll say it anyway. Time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't give extensions. Every year you spend waiting for the right moment is a year you spent in the same place. And at some point you'll look back and you'll realize the right moment was every single one you let pass. That's the cost, not the standard. Not dramatic, not sudden, just slow, invisible, permanent, and painful. So what do you do? Now, I'm not going to tell you to overhaul your life tomorrow. That's not how this works. Here's what I'll tell you. Stop asking, is this the right time? And start asking, what does staying cost me? Those are different questions. The first one keeps you in analysis mode indefinitely. The second one forces you to look at the price of the thing you're treating as free. What is it costing you to stay in that job? Not just financially. What is it costing you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in terms of who you're becoming? What is it costing you to not start the thing you keep saying you'll start? What is it costing you to keep tolerating the situation you told yourself was temporary 2 years ago? When you make the cost visible, when you actually sit with it instead of looking away, the math changes. Because most people aren't choosing comfort over growth because they don't care about growth. They're choosing it because the cost of staying comfortable feels abstract. Future you pays that bill. The current you, man, we just trying to kick back, relax, you know what I'm saying? Use the lotion a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? Explore the tube a little bit. My fault for the tube analogy. So I just, you know what I'm saying? I just got to get through. So make future you real. Make the cost real. Put it on paper if you want to. And then make one decision. Not 100, just one. The simplest decision you probably could have made in a long time. One of the simplest decisions that you have been doing. That's been avoiding. The one that's been sitting in the back of your mind every time you scroll through somebody else's life and wonder why things aren't moving for you. Do that. Do that one thing. Not perfectly. Not when you're ready. Do it now. That's how you exit easy mode. Not with a montage. Not with a speech. With one move followed by another. Easy mode will always be available. Well, the world is designed to offer you comfort, entertainment, distraction, the path of least resistance. It's everywhere. It's always on, and it will never stop being an option. The question isn't whether you can access it. The question is whether you're willing to trade for it. Because every time you choose easy, you're trading something. Your time, your standards, your potential, potentially your money, the version of yourself that was capable of something real. That trade doesn't always feel like a loss in the moment, but it always adds up. You already know which direction you need to move. The only question left is whether you'll actually move. So, what's it going to be? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the whole nine. And I'll see you on the next one.